Imagine this. You're standing in a church in your dream wedding dress. 200 guests are waiting. The music is playing. The flowers are perfect. Everything you've planned for a year is finally happening. Except for one small problem. The groom never shows up. My name is Jennifer Martinez, and 5 years ago, I was left at the altar by the man I thought I'd spend my life with. I was humiliated, devastated, broken. But here's the twist. 5 years later, I got a text from him. An apology. From prison. And by that point, I was married to his former best man, living my best life, and honestly, I couldn't stop laughing. This is that story. Let me take you back to the beginning. I met Ryan Mitchell when I was 24. I was working as a marketing coordinator at a tech startup. He was a pharmaceutical sales rep, charming, successful, drove a nice car, always dressed well. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party. He bought me a drink, made me laugh, and by the end of the night, I'd given him my number. Our first date was magical. He took me to this upscale Italian restaurant, told me stories about his job, asked about my dreams and goals. He seemed genuinely interested in me, not just trying to get me into bed. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. And those 2 years were good. Not perfect, but good. Ryan was attentive, romantic, generous. He'd surprise me with flowers, plan weekend getaways, talk about our future together. Sure, there were red flags. He was a little too concerned with appearances, what car we drove, what restaurants we went to, what our wedding would look like. He'd get weird about money sometimes, vague about his finances, and he was oddly secretive about his phone. But he said it was because of client confidentiality with his pharmaceutical work. I ignored the red flags because I was in love. Or at least, I thought I was. Ryan proposed on a beach in Mexico during a vacation. It was sunset. There was a photographer he'd secretly hired, the whole production. The ring was gorgeous. 2 carats, platinum band. I said yes without hesitation. We started planning the wedding immediately. I wanted something small and intimate. Ryan wanted something big and impressive. This is our one wedding, Jen, he'd say. Let's do it right. Let's give people something to remember. So we planned a big wedding. 200 guests. Expensive venue. Designer dress. Full bar. Live band. The works. It cost $75,000. My parents contributed $20,000. Ryan said he'd cover the rest. I didn't question how a pharmaceutical sales rep had $55,000 lying around, but I should have. The week before the wedding, Ryan seemed stressed. He was short-tempered, distracted, barely sleeping. I chalked it up to wedding jitters. We were both under a lot of pressure. Are you okay? I asked him 3 days before the wedding. I'm fine, he snapped. Just dealing with some work stuff. It'll be fine. It wasn't fine. The morning of the wedding, I woke up excited. Nervous, but excited. This was it. The day I'd been planning for a year. The day I'd been dreaming about since I was a little girl. I got ready with my bridesmaids at the venue, a beautiful historic mansion with gardens. My hair and makeup took 2 hours. My dress fit perfectly. I looked in the mirror and thought, this is really happening. I'm getting married today. My maid of honor, my best friend Sarah, kept checking her phone. Everything okay? I asked. Yeah, totally fine, she said. But she looked worried. Have you heard from Ryan? Yeah, he texted earlier. Said he was getting ready with the guys. I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? The ceremony was scheduled for 4 p.m. At 3:45, my bridesmaids and I were in the bridal suite, doing final touch-ups. My dad came in to walk me down the aisle. You look beautiful, mija, he said, tears in his eyes. Thanks, Dad. I was trying not to cry and ruin my makeup. At 3:55, there was a knock on the door. It was the wedding coordinator, looking panicked. Jennifer, can I speak with you for a moment? My stomach dropped. Something was wrong. What's going on? The groom. He's not here yet. We've tried calling him, but he's not answering. His best man, Marcus, said Ryan left the hotel 2 hours ago and should have been here by now. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. What do you mean he's not here? Where is he? We don't know. Marcus is trying to reach him. Maybe there's traffic? Maybe his phone died? I grabbed my phone and called Ryan. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. Give him a few more minutes, Sarah said, rubbing my back. I'm sure there's an explanation. We waited. 4 p.m. came and went. The guests were getting restless. I could hear murmuring from the ceremony space. 4:15 p.m. Still nothing. 4:30 p.m. My mom came into the bridal suite, looking devastated. Honey, she said gently, maybe we should talk to the guests. Let them know there's a delay. No, I said firmly. He's coming. He's just late. He'll be here. But deep down, I knew something was terribly wrong. At 5 p.m., Marcus, Ryan's best man and his friend since college, came into the bridal suite. He looked pale, sick. Jen, he said quietly, I need to talk to you. Everyone left except Marcus and me. He's not coming, is he? I asked. Marcus shook his head. I've been calling him for an hour. Nothing. I went to his apartment. His car is gone. Some of his stuff is gone. What do you mean gone? I mean, it looks like he packed a bag and left. The room started spinning. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. I don't understand. Why would he leave? We're getting married. Today. Right now. Marcus looked like he was about to be sick. Jen, I think he ran? Ran where? Why? I don't know. But I found something in his apartment. He pulled out his phone and showed me a screenshot of a text conversation. This is from Ryan's phone. I found it on his iPad, which he left behind. The messages sync. I looked at the screen. It was a conversation between Ryan and someone named D. The most recent message, from this morning, read, I can't do it. I'm leaving. Don't try to contact me. I couldn't breathe. I literally couldn't breathe. Who is D? I managed to ask. I don't know. But Jen, there are a lot of messages, going back months, about money, about debts, about some kind of deal that went wrong. I sat down before I fell down. This was real. This was actually happening. My fiancé had abandoned me on our wedding day. What do? I whispered. Marcus sat down next to me. We need to tell the guests. We need to cancel the wedding. The next hour was the worst of my life. I had to walk out in front of 200 people, in my wedding dress, with my makeup done, looking like a bride, and tell them there would be no wedding. I'm so sorry, I said, my voice shaking. Ryan isn't coming. The wedding is canceled. I apologize for wasting your time. Please enjoy the reception. There's food and an open bar. Don't let it go to waste. I didn't stay for the reception. I couldn't. I went back to the bridal suite, took off my dress, put on jeans and a t-shirt, and left through a back door. Sarah drove me home. I didn't cry. I was too numb to cry. It wasn't until I was alone in my apartment, the apartment I'd been planning to move out of next week to move in with Ryan, that I finally broke down. I cried for 3 days straight. The days after the wedding were a blur. I called in sick to work. I ignored calls from concerned friends and family. I stayed in bed and tried to understand what had happened. Ryan had vanished. Completely. His phone was off. His apartment was empty. His car was gone. It was like he'd never existed. After a week, I finally talked to the police. They took a report but told me that unless there was evidence of foul play, there wasn't much they could do. Adults have the right to disappear if they want to. But he left me at the altar, I said. He stole money. The wedding cost $75,000. Did he steal your money specifically? Well, no. His portion was supposed to come from his savings. Then technically, he didn't steal anything. He just didn't show up. That's not a crime. I felt helpless, humiliated, angry. The worst part was the pity. Everyone looked at me with these sad, sympathetic eyes. Poor Jennifer, they'd whisper, left at the altar. How embarrassing. I became that girl. The girl who got dumped on her wedding day. The cautionary tale. The punchline. I spiraled for about a month. I barely ate. I definitely didn't sleep well. I replayed every moment of our relationship, looking for signs I'd missed. And then, one day, Marcus texted me. Hey, I know this is weird, but do you want to get coffee? I feel terrible about what Ryan did. I'd like to check in on you if that's okay. Marcus had been Ryan's best friend since college. They'd been roommates, business partners in some failed startup, groomsmen at each other's. Well, at Ryan's almost wedding, I almost said no. Being around Marcus would just remind me of Ryan. But I was lonely, and Marcus had been kind to me on the worst day of my life. So I said yes. We met at a coffee shop near my apartment. Marcus looked tired, guilty. I'm so sorry, Jen, he said as soon as we sat down. I can't believe he did that to you. I've known Ryan for 10 years, and I never thought he was capable of something like this. Have you heard from him? I asked. No, nothing. It's like he fell off the face of the earth. We talked for 2 hours. About Ryan. About the wedding. About how neither of us understood what had happened. And then Marcus told me something that changed everything. I did some digging, he said quietly. After Ryan disappeared, I was trying to figure out why he ran. And I found some things. What things? Ryan was in debt. Serious debt. Like $200,000 in debt. I stared at him. How? He had a good job. He drove a nice car. It was all financed. The car was leased. His apartment was month to month and he was 3 months behind on rent. And the debt. It wasn't from credit cards. It was from gambling. Ryan had a gambling problem. How had I not known? He'd been betting on sports, playing online poker, going to casinos. He'd lost everything. And apparently, he'd borrowed money from some not great people. People who were starting to threaten him. That's why he ran. Not because he didn't love me. Not because he got cold feet. Because he was in trouble and running from his debts. I think the wedding was supposed to be his fresh start, Marcus continued. I think he thought if he married you, he could stabilize his life. Maybe get a loan from your family, dig himself out. But then something happened. Maybe the people he owed money to put more pressure on him. And he panicked and ran. I didn't know whether to feel relieved or more angry. At least it wasn't about me. But he'd still left me at the altar. He'd still humiliated me. I'm telling you this because I think you deserve to know the truth, Marcus said. Ryan was my friend, but what he did to you was unforgivable. I appreciated Marcus telling me. It gave me some closure, some understanding. We started meeting for coffee regularly after that, just as friends. Marcus felt guilty about Ryan and wanted to make sure I was okay. I was grateful for the friendship. Slowly, over months, I started healing. I went back to work. I hung out with friends again. I even laughed occasionally. And Marcus was there through all of it. I didn't mean to fall in love with Marcus. It happened so gradually that I didn't even notice at first. Coffee dates turned into dinner. Dinner turned into movies. Movies turned into long walks and deep conversations. Marcus was everything Ryan wasn't. He was honest, grounded, kind. He didn't care about appearances or impressing people. He had a steady job as an accountant, lived within his means, and was just solid, reliable. 8 months after the almost wedding, Marcus and I were having dinner at his apartment when he suddenly got serious. Jen, I need to tell you something. My heart sank. Here it comes, I thought. He's going to tell me he can't see me anymore because I'm his friend's ex-fiancé. I have feelings for you, he said. Real feelings. And I've been fighting them for months because of Ryan. Because of the situation, because of everything. But I can't fight it anymore. You're incredible. You're smart and funny and strong. And I think about you constantly. I stared at him, processing. I know this is complicated, he continued. I know there's history. I know people will judge. But Jen, I'm falling in love with you, and I needed you to know. I should have been conflicted. I should have worried about what people would think. I should have thought about Ryan. But I didn't. I have feelings for you too, I said. That night changed everything. Marcus and I started dating officially. We kept it quiet at first. We didn't need the drama. But eventually, we stopped hiding. And yes, people judged. She's dating her ex-fiancé's best friend? They'd whisper, "That's messy." But we didn't care. What Ryan did wasn't our fault. Our connection wasn't wrong. We deserved happiness. A year after we started dating, Marcus proposed. Nothing fancy. Just the two of us at home, on the couch, watching a movie. I don't need a beach or a photographer, he said. I just need you. Will you marry me? I said yes. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony. 30 people. Just family and close friends. No drama. No expensive venue. Just love. And I was happier than I'd ever been with Ryan. Life moved on. Marcus and I built a beautiful life together. We bought a house. We adopted a dog. We talked about having kids eventually. I rarely thought about Ryan anymore. He was ancient history. A bad memory. A bullet dodged. And then, 5 years after the almost wedding, I got a text. It was a Saturday morning. Marcus and I were having coffee in our kitchen. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened the text. Jen, it's Ryan. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I need to apologize. I'm in prison. I did something terrible. I've had a lot of time to think, and I realize what I did to you was unforgivable. You deserved better. I'm so sorry. I stared at my phone. Marcus noticed. You okay? Ryan just texted me. What? I showed him the text. Marcus's eyes widened. Prison? What the hell? I didn't respond to the text. But I was curious. So I did what anyone would do in 2024. I Googled him. Ryan Mitchell. And there he was. News articles from 3 years ago. Local man arrested in fraud scheme. Pharmaceutical sales rep charged with healthcare fraud. I read the articles. Ryan had been running a scheme where he was taking kickbacks from doctors for prescribing unnecessary medications. It was a whole operation. He'd been making hundreds of thousands of dollars illegally. He'd been caught, arrested, tried, and sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. So that's where he'd been. That's what he'd been running from. Another text came through. I know you probably hate me. I hate myself. I ruined everything. I heard you married Marcus. I'm happy for you. You deserve happiness. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. You don't have to respond. I just needed to say it. I looked at Marcus. Did you know about this? That he was in prison? No. I stopped keeping track of him years ago. I thought about responding. I thought about telling Ryan exactly how much he'd hurt me, how much he'd humiliated me, how long it took me to recover. But then I looked at Marcus, my husband, my partner, the man who'd helped me heal and build a better life than I ever would have had with Ryan. And I realized, Ryan didn't deserve my anger. He didn't deserve my words. He didn't deserve any more of my time or energy. So I blocked the number. What did you say? Marcus asked. Nothing. He doesn't deserve a response. Marcus smiled and kissed my forehead. I love you. I love you too. That night, Marcus and I looked through old photos from our wedding. We laughed at how nervous we'd both been. How perfect the day had been. How lucky we were to have found each other. You know what's funny? I said, what? If Ryan hadn't left me at the altar, I never would have ended up with you. His worst moment became my best moment. Marcus pulled me close. Then I guess I should thank him. Don't you dare, I laughed. But in a weird way, Ryan ghosting me was the best thing that ever happened to me. It freed me from a relationship that would have been a disaster. It connected me with someone who actually deserved me. It taught me that sometimes, when everything falls apart, it's actually falling into place. Ryan is in prison, probably miserable, dealing with the consequences of his choices. And me? I'm in my beautiful home with my incredible husband, living my best life. So Ryan, if you ever somehow see this, thank you. Thank you for being exactly who you were. Thank you for running. Thank you for showing me that I deserved better. Because I found better. And honestly, I've never been happier. This is Jennifer Martinez, signing off from Love and Chaos. Because sometimes the chaos of being left at the altar leads to the love of your life.